Alright, balance prediction video straight into it. Going to be a pretty short one. I'm just going to go over what I think is going to happen and what I think should happen. Obviously, they're not going to go along with that. The last banlist prediction actually went pretty well in that I knew the Hulk was getting banned, and people kept saying that wasn't going to happen. So obviously, this is going to be correct as well. So I think this list is going to come out at some point between like Lyon and London. There's no way that we have the current format all the way until April, but I don't think we're getting a list before Lyon. So let's just go, starting with stuff I think should happen. YuGiOh can probably just stay where it is. This cut sucks. Map, limit. This deck actually has been really funny. Flu has been not the best deck ever, but it's been a meta deck longer than anything else currently in the format, which is kind of silly when you think about it. And yeah, please kill this deck. On the subject of which, please ban Barrier Statue. Another subject of that, please ban Diablosis. I have no issue with playing into the cash format, obviously, in terms of power level, not in terms of fun. Like, the deck is obviously unfun as hell to play into, and terrible for some situation. Like, I have 4 different cards that I can't activate under Ice Heart, and it's not fun playing into a full board lock on Shangri-La and all that. But the card that is problematic, honestly, in the current version of the deck is Diablosis. Now, obviously, the archetype was made to be support for this card. This card is very clearly meant to be very, very similar to the Cashiers or the other way around, and it does work together in the combo to lock 2 zones on turn 1 with the Shangri-La by taking a card out of your opponent's extra and then banishing it like the top 4 of their deck. So if you take this out, they no longer can lock 3 zones turn 1, they can't guarantee another lock with the banish face down effect, and they can't just grind you out of the game by banishing half your deck. This card is so unfun, and it should not be in the game while Cashier is. They absolutely need to get rid of this for a healthy cash format, but I don't think. Free my boy. Free my boy. Free my boy. Honestly, this is a fun. People haven't really been talking about this card, but I think Archfiend can come back to 2. I think it's time to see what Infernity can do, and I think it makes sense with Maze of Memories around the corner. I think they could unhit Infernity with the support coming up. Dweller, please ban it. Elf, limited. This card's really, really important in quite a few decks, and in Spire particularly, it does need to be at more than 1 to be optimal. So yeah, just limit it. This card probably shouldn't exist anyway, it's ridiculous, but they're never gonna ban it, so just limit it, please. Merly, this should be probably banned. I think Tier still being the best deck in OSG, I think some of that goes to the format and all that, but like, there is a reason that just banning Hit Close is not enough. You need to ban a main deck name to put a hard cap on the number of fusion summons they can perform in a turn, and how much of a threat they are in a turn. You don't need to be able to interrupt them anywhere as much if they only have 2 fusion names. Ancient Fairy Dragon is probably coming back to 1 because it's got the errata in the OCG, it's going to get an errata TSG. I can see it being a Maze of Memories. Gazelle can go to 3, who cares about Salad? Harp, please. Please, he's funny. Havness, probably limit this card as well. Ridiculously powerful to just have a hand trap to summon a fusion monster and event turn 1. Instant, please ban it. Instant is arguably the strongest card in Telement, and for good reason. It just says summon Get Close, which is full combo by itself, so yeah, please ban this. Kelbeck, this card should probably not be at more than 1, because it is a hand trap plus the mill 5, and it's the one that you actually want to play. These 2, please, should be gone. They're not going to be. They should be. Shifter should be banned. Same Maid, he can probably come back to 1. It's not doing anything in Master Duel, and they've got like everything in there. I think this card's completely fine. Like, you can probably like do the ban hunter thing. Even then, I don't even think that's necessary. Like, wind-up's not good enough. This can come back to 3, no problem. Scythe needs to be banned. It keeps rearing its head. Pearl Rhino should be limited. Especially with the cash field spell coming out, you cannot allow Tier to have 6 total field spells. Just ridiculous. And Kick Close should be banned as well. Magnamart, this card should be limited because it's just silly. And you may think, oh, but you're a branded player, why do you want Abyssial to get hit? Well, we don't really care. Branded doesn't really care about losing the copies of Magnamart, because the best ones are Saranir and probably Druisworm. Maybe Baldrake. Like, Magnamart's pretty good, it's pretty powerful. Obviously, you'd like to play more than 1, but it's not that big of a hit to Branded, and it's more of a hit to everything else and hit to this insane generic engine. And honestly, it's probably more of a hit to tier because they just can't consistently make Beatrice anymore. So I'd be very happy to see this card get limited. It's ridiculous and it just searches any dragon in the game, and I have no idea why they thought that was okay. Sprite probably does not need a hit. I would like to see Sprite be good. I enjoy playing against Sprite. I think it's a cool deck when they don't go into Sprite Tri-Brigade Scythe-Lock combo like they're doing in the OCG at the minute. And the way you do that is by keeping Sprite at relatively high power. But that's what I think should happen. But what I think will happen? Let's go through it. I think they will actually limit Kelbeck. And I think they will probably limit Mudora. And I don't think there's going to be any change to Agido and Keldo. I think they're just going to cut down the number of these Shizus, and I don't think they're going to address the core problem, which is that these cards should just not have been printed in the first place. I think they're going to try and keep them relatively alive because they're really good in so many different Earth decks that they still want to maybe see power when Tyr is dead. Maybe they want Naturia to see some play, stuff like that. Map. I actually think that they might limit map because, again, Flu has been meta-relevant for longer than any other deck consistently in the format right now, and it is very unpopular. On the same vein, Area Statue's probably going. There's no way this thing's surviving another list. It's hated, it's unfun. Cash can make it now with a Arsenal Falcon. It needs to not be in the format. Yeah, like I said, Ancient Fairy Dragon is probably going to come back because it's probably going to be in something like Maze of Memories, and the errata is going to come. I think Magnum will get limited. It is just too good, and everyone knows it, and it's not popular. I don't actually think they're getting an Unhit Blaster, sadly. This is going to be my funny one. I think they will semi-Archfiend because Maze of Memories is coming out with Infernity support. It makes sense. It pushes it a little bit. I think it'll be really cool and great timing to do it. Instant Fusion. This card's going. There's no way it's staying. It's very funny because, like, next set in May, we've got a B-Trooper Instant Fusion target coming out. Obviously, this hurts a lot of decks, but really, they shouldn't be designing fusions to revolve around this specific card. Like, every fusion monster in the game at this point is either designed to not be an instant fusion target, or designed to be an instant fusion target. Kit Close, the Predaplant, B-Trooper, like, they're all just level 5 fusion with an on-summon effect. It's like, damn, I wonder why these are all being printed. And it's because instant fusion exists, and while it exists, design of fusions is just going to be bad, and it's going to be the sacky card that if there's ever a good target for it, is just broken. I think this is going to be their sort of like middle ground of, okay, we're not actually going to hit Kit Close, we're just going to hit instant, and that should be enough. Not, yeah, just hit instant, of course. I think they are going to limit Pearl Rhino. I think they understand, and it's the reason that in the OCG they printed the other tier field spell, even though it's terrible, that they just knew this card's getting limited. Like, there's no way this can stay legal. It's not gonna be Kit Close, it's not gonna be Merly. I think the other one is going to be Havness because they're getting another hand effect one, and this is arguably the least popular and the most frustrating one to play against because they open it and you lose because they get to turn one, make a roll close, and yeah, I think these are the two major hits. This still, of course, leaves Tyr as the best deck in the format, and I think they're doing that intentionally. I don't think they're going to kill it. I think they will put Recital 3. I think they won't hit Shifter, sadly. They think that Shifter is keeping Tyr in check, I think. And unfortunately, that means they're just not going to do anything about it. Unfortunately, as well, Diabolosis. Ban Diabolosis is definitely not a popular take. Like, I don't think it's a hot take. It's certainly very logical, and I think it's extremely reasonable, but it's not really one that people are saying, and I don't think it's one that's really on Konami's radar. Similar thing with the Dweller, it's a hated card, but one of those things they think is a necessary evil. It should be banned, but they're not going to touch it. I think they actually will limit Elf because of how good it is generically, just to curb how bullshit this card is. And while we're still looking at Sprite, I do actually think while they don't need it, and while they don't deserve it, I think they're gonna do a sprite hit, and I think they're gonna limit starter. There's a lot of limits on here now, but I think this is pretty reasonable. I think they do need to do like some sort of at least significant set of limits, and I think they will be a little scared of sprite being like best deck if they hit tier. It's not needed, but I think they will start it. And starter, honestly, it's an E-Telly, or that's better than E-Telly. Yeah, it makes sense that they would limit it. Like, E-Telly took a long time to come back 3, and it's not being played because there's not really any good deck for it, because without Chaos Ruler you can't really play Punk, and without Hulk as well. So, yeah, I think starter is like the real demonstration of how E-Telly, when it has great targets, is broken and really probably should not be at 3. I want to be hopeful that they'll finally hit Scythe, and I'm gonna be hopeful, because otherwise this isn't gonna be a particularly interesting bet. If I just take all the safe bets, it's not gonna be very interesting of a video, and not very interesting of a prediction, and I think they will actually hit Scythe. I think they will. They've been very delayed with hits recently, like they banned Curious when we were already going into Dabble and Malma format, where it wasn't going to be relevant anymore, but I think they are sort of starting to address cards that maybe it's late to hit them, but they realizing, okay, this card's always going to be problematic, we probably need to hit it, and I think they should do that with Scythe. I think Gazelle will hit 3 this list. I don't think they'll hit Zamedi, and as much as I want it, I think they're going to try and do a pretty measured list in terms of non-meta cards, and only do these couple of hits. And I think Harp's going to stay where it is, because for some reason, they still think that Orcust is good. So yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. Have a good one.